Welcome to Leading the Way. My name is Michelle Grachek, and I'm the President and CEO with the National Association of Long-Term Care Boards. Today, I have with me two of our association leaders. We have Nicole Mattson. She is the Vice President of Strategic Initiatives at Care Providers of Minnesota. And we also have Michella Sybesma, the Vice President of Education and Communication at the South Dakota Association for Healthcare Organizations. I want to welcome these two ladies for joining us today. Michella, would you like to take a minute and tell us just a little bit about your professional background?
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. It's a pleasure to be here. So as Michelle mentioned, I'm Michella Sybesma, and I currently work at SDAHO. We're the South Dakota Association of Healthcare Organizations. So we support hospitals and long-term care facilities within the state. And my professional experience, I started out as a nursing home administrator, and I did that for about 3 years. And then I was a home health director and worked in private duty and also home health Medicare certified agency as well for several years. I also worked in telemedicine for a few years, and then I came to the association where we support all of our South Dakota healthcare facilities. So thanks again for allowing me to be here today, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Michella. And Nicole, would you like to tell us a couple things about your professional background?
Yeah, thanks. So Nicole Mattson with Care Providers of Minnesota. I have an opportunity to do advocacy and workforce development for our members, our over 1,000 members here in Minnesota. My background is all in senior care. I started when I was 16 as a dietary aide, and I've never left. I grew with an organization who's based in South Dakota, but was here in Minnesota. And was an HR professional and a nursing home administrator, and I was an early adopter of the HSE accreditation. So I'm an HSE. I'm also I'm also a CAE. But I'm happy to be here today on behalf of our members here in Minnesota.
Thank you both for joining me and talking with me a little bit today. One of the questions that we get a lot is there's a lot of challenges out there, and Nicole being in regulation and working with your members, I'm sure you hear that quite a bit. So what are some of those unique challenges that our senior living and health services administrators are facing today, and what are your associations really doing to help address those concerns? Nicole, why don't you start, since you have been working in this recently?
Yeah, I think for us, we really recognize the multiple priorities that administrators have to juggle. All of the demographic shifts have really placed a lot of pressure on demand for our services and supports. And I think just, you've got to be an in-the-moment generalist, keeping all the wheels turning all the time, and we recognize that. Coming out of the pandemic, there's persistent workforce challenges that continues to be a huge focus for many of our members. We've got a lot of advocacy that we're trying to do to make sure that we're maintaining access for seniors. And all of that is really challenging to lead, to be a senior leader in this profession, because you're juggling so many things. I think we want to be that space that we can be all things to all of these senior leaders, and be really highly accessible for them, because we know, they're going through so many things on a day-to-day. They're just trying to make it through. So we want to be that resource. We want to be that voice of truth and that advocate for them, and make sure that we're connecting them together with things that are hopefully going to improve their life in the immediacy, but also lead our profession towards excellence.
Thank you. And yes, it's a hard time to be a senior leader right now. Michella, what else would you like to add? What's your association doing in these challenging times?
Yeah, well, I would agree with what Nicole said. I think workforce, we constantly hear that is a huge struggle within the senior living area. And one thing that we're doing in that space, advocacy is extremely important, and always advocating on behalf of our members to improve the Medicaid reimbursement rates within our state. And another thing that we've recently done is we received a grant through HRSA that's specifically working on sustainable pipeline of essential healthcare workers, including CNAs, home health aides, and food service workers. So that's currently in the works. It's a 4-year grant. And then as far as in my area where I work with education and events, we are constantly looking for different ways to provide information and professional development opportunities, not only for the administrators, but for their staff too. And so we have a variety of different leadership programs and also different webinars and workshops to help maximize reimbursement opportunities, because financial sustainability is another challenge that we hear from our members, especially in communities where their buildings are very, very old, and trying to figure out how to sustain in their communities. Also, another concern we hear is regulatory compliance, and so we have a strong relationship with our state and federal partners. And we regularly have our South Dakota Department of Health on meetings so they can directly hear from our members and they can provide information on what they're seeing for survey trends and just to keep that communication line open. So we kind of act as that liaison between our members and our state and do what we can to assist with that as well. So,
well, thank you for both of you for what you're doing. So my next question is the administrator role. I mean, if we look at where we've come, 30 years ago into where we are now, that role has changed dramatically. Looking at that, how are your associations really rising to meet that demand? Tools and resources. So what are you guys really doing? And Michelle, we'll start with you this time.
Sounds good. Well, speaking to my area with education and events, after COVID, virtual programming has just went sky high as far as the number of opportunities we provide. In addition, we provide nursing home administrator, continuing education, as well as social work. And so we do provide a lot of those opportunities virtually and have had great success. And it's really helped them because they've had to restrict travel costs associated with going to in-person events and leaving time away from the office. And so I would say that's one thing that we've really stepped up our game is in the virtual space and offering a variety of different professional development opportunities to our members.
Nicole, do you have anything to add that your organization is doing in Minnesota?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Hybrid is the sweet spot, is, meeting people where they're at and what they're able to do. It just, and for a lot of people, it adds additional access, especially in rural outstate Minnesota. Not everybody has the ability to travel, and there's weather issues probably in your state too. So I think that's made accessibility to committees and education just a lot greater. I think also there's a lot more customization. There's overall trends and patterns that we're seeing and overarching big picture issues, but there is also a wider variation amongst our members of their approaches to providing care and subsequently kind of what their needs are. So making sure that we're a resource for all of those different environments, specialized facilities, smaller facilities, urban versus rural, post-acute versus long-term. I think we just want to make sure that we're tapped into where our members are and how our members are evolving, so that we can be that resource for them and that connection point. It's all about trying to be as responsive as possible.
And that's what we can do. And I agree completely with the weather. I reserve it for North Dakota, but I call them the frozen chosen or chosen frozen. So weather can be a real challenge. And that's why the hybrid works so well. So Nicole, I'm coming back to you this time. I know you said you are a former administrator. You've been in this a long time. Do you have any advice or wisdom to offer those administrators who are looking to advance their careers, looking or for associations that are trying to empower their members to really take action, because we know these are challenging times? Yeah.
Yeah, I am very passionate about advocacy. I think in this profession, you got to step up. You got to engage. You have to advocate for the profession. You're here for a reason. You're a senior professional in long-term care for a reason. You've got to be the keeper of that story and share that with other stakeholders, with legislators. It's up to you to kind of lead and inform, because if you're not doing it, that void is going to be filled by somebody else who's not as knowledgeable. So I really feel that that is both needed for us as a profession, but also for every single person as an individual to feel empowered. Like, there's so many things with this profession that are outside of our control, but we have to use and step into our influence where we can, and that is what advocacy is all about. It's about us educating folks, trying to eliminate some assumptions, and hopefully designing our own future of where we want it to be, where we want to go, where we want to advance.
That's just so positive. So, and I think we are our own future. We can design our own future. Michelle, do you have anything to add? How would you encourage those future leaders to enhance their careers, and what's your association doing to help support some of that?
Yeah, and I completely agree with Nicole. I think advocacy is so vital and so needed, especially today, to inform our lawmakers on the importance of senior care and how sometimes how they vote, it can greatly impact the senior living community and their community in general. But I also think one thing that's really important is for those administrators to look into their state's healthcare association to see how they can get involved and actively contribute to the industry. So, for instance, in our association, we have councils and committees, and they focus on things such as advocacy, reimbursement, post-acute care specific, quality, education, and we're always looking for members to engage in a meaningful way and to really add value in those areas. It not only helps you stay informed about the developments on a broader scale, but just gives you a platform to serve your profession and make your voice heard in shaping the future of healthcare. And so in our state, we're always looking for members to step up and serve in those capacities because we need that voice.
Thank you both. Thank you for what you're doing to make those voices heard. So this question specifically for Nicole. Nicole, first of all, thank you for joining NAB's Credentialing Commission. We appreciate your voice and your leadership in that group. But as a new commissioner, what trends or needs have you observed among your members, and what can associations do to help with that, to help promote professional growth? So what do they need, and how can we as associations, because NAB's an association as well, help promote those professional growth opportunities and really have them understand what's out there for them?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. I really just see such a huge opportunity. I was an early adopter of HSE for a reason. I felt like it was a way to elevate our profession, a way to center ourselves differently within the healthcare continuum. In the state of Minnesota, we recently had assisted living licensure, and the statute requires those assisted living leaders to become licensed. So we're kind of beyond the initial phases of that, and I just see what an opportunity it is for the thousands of those folks who got licensed as an assisted living director to level up their professional credential and move into HSE. And that's really what it's about, right? It's about us elevating our profession. It's about a signal to others that, we are holding the senior living care continuum and are capable of leading in these different environments. And I just think it's an opportunity for more to kind of enter into that space. And I'm really encouraged by the number of folks that we have under assisted living license director, and kind of see that this is the next step for them. A lot of times people think that they've reached maybe a ceiling. There's more. There's more growth opportunities here within our profession. That's what I think of. I just see an opportunity.
Shatter that ceiling is what I've always said. And especially in Minnesota. You are one of our few states that actually license HSEs, and it helps to streamline that whole process. People are very proud of that from Minnesota. So you guys worked hard to get that in place. So I say congratulations. Yeah. So switching the topic a little bit, Michelle, this one's for you, and it's a topic near and dear to my heart. Having elderly grandparents who are in home care and hospice right now. So in your dual role as our home and community-based services exam item writer and our vice chair, and then also in your professional role at your association, what can you share about the importance of the understanding of the whole home and community-based services role in today's healthcare landscape? We're hearing a lot about it. Assisted living and home care and hospice are big conversations. So how important are those?
Oh, gosh. Thank you, Michelle. I think it's so vital. HCBS just plays a huge role in supporting individuals with long-term care needs while allowing, them to remain in their home and in their community. And as more patients prefer community-based care, understanding HCBS is just so critical for administrators, especially as they design different services or grow or just even work with HCBS providers. It's just so important that they understand what they are, what is all out there for seniors, and some of the regulatory guidelines even. So, I think as a nursing home administrator, you do work so closely with all those other service areas. And so understanding the different services just is so vital today. So.
Well, and thank you for what you do personally and professionally, because it matters. It matters daily. It matters to families across the country. So switching back to the health service executive, we've talked a little bit about that with Nicole, and we've kind of sprinkled it in some. And it's important to NAB because it does cover the broad spectrum of services in the senior living health services market. But I'm going to start with Nicole, so we're going to flip back and forth. How do you see the HSE qualification benefiting the professionals within your association? I know we've kind of danced around that, but what are the direct benefits, or what could they be?
Well, I mean, for me, I see HSE as just access, expanded career opportunities, again, elevating the profession, kind of recognizing who we are and what we can do. Obviously, licensure portability. But big picture, I think it really is about our place in the healthcare continuum. It is about recognizing that senior care is a profession. And as such, we're trying to generate the next generation of leaders. We want to appeal to them as a career pathway. And this really is a means to that end. This is about recognizing how we fit into that healthcare continuum, honoring all that we have within the senior care space, and are capable of doing, and making sure that we're positioning ourselves for a new worker. Like I adopted, one of the reasons that I was influenced to adopt HSE versus LNHA, young folks don't want to be recognized as a nursing home administrator. And I think that we have to just call that out. They want to be recognized for what they're doing and have a title that somehow fits within the rest of the care continuum that's comparable to what senior leaders are doing in acute care and ambulatory care. And I think health services executive recognizes that. From an advocacy perspective, and from a quality perspective, I think it really positions us to say, this is our profession. We understand what it means to move towards excellence in the profession. It's the same resident, perhaps, that's moving throughout the care continuum, and we're recognizing our expertise at guiding and leading in those spaces. So I think it also helps from an advocacy perspective.
It does. I mean, I think you make perfect sense. Michelle, do you have anything to add about the benefits to the professional?
Yeah, I've been with the HSE program as far as an exam writer since it started, and it's so awesome to see it evolve into what it is today. And I think it's, really a benchmark for expertise in healthcare administration and just gives so much credibility and, shows their commitment to the profession, which to me is just so awesome because there is great career advancement in, senior care and long-term care services. And so to me, it's just really exciting to see this come to fruition and to be able to elevate the profession.
So turning back to the HSE for a second, I know the last 5 years in the profession have been very challenging with COVID and a lot of the regulatory changes that are coming forth now. So those, and we've lost a lot of our leaders in the profession. So for those leaders that are still considering possibly leaving the profession, how would the HSE possibly incentivize them to stay? Nicole, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, health services executive is a signal that you have a body of knowledge for the entire senior care profession, both on the skilled side and on the senior living side. It marries both of those worlds together and says that you are this professional that can move throughout the senior care continuum. It acknowledges the professionalism of our industry, our sector. And I think if you as a professional are maybe questioning where you are, this is just another kind of rung, another thing for you to attain that says you're moving towards a point of excellence within the profession, and you know and understand what it means to serve in the senior care space. So I do think it could be an incentive to both. And for one thing, studying it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see that, you know what, I do know a lot. I know a lot about what it means to serve seniors in a nursing home, seniors and assisted living. And putting that all kind of encapsulated in your journey of studying and then receiving the accreditation is, I think, an important thing to acknowledge.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Michelle, would you like to add your thoughts on how we can incentivize our leaders to stay with the HSE?
Yeah, I think, just getting the word out there, what the HSE is all about and encouraging them to look into it, and especially if they're looking to grow in their career and if they've been in the profession for a while, what an awesome way to just expand your knowledge and your skill set and continue to grow and, develop in your community too, and hopefully, explore other services and senior living areas that you can bring to your community.
You're exactly right. So, as we wrap up today, I wanted to give each of you an opportunity to give our listeners any final thoughts, words of advice, or just anything that you would like to say. Let's start with you, Michelle. Would you like to end with any thoughts today?
Yeah, I guess what I would say is I would just encourage those listening to check out resources available within their state association. There's so many valuable resources, tools, things that they can get involved in. I think another thing too is NAB and all of the professional development and career advancement resources they have as well. The HSE to explore if that's right for you and to just, learn a little bit more about it. I think as we all continue to grow and advance in our careers, it's good to explore what's out there. So I would just encourage you to check out those resources.
Thank you, Michelle. And Nicole, would you like to add anything as we conclude today?
Yeah, I just really agree with Michelle. I think this is your opportunity to engage in our profession. You are a senior leader. You already are a senior leader. It's up to you where you want to take it, and engaging with your association at the state and national level, engaging with NAB, enhancing your credentials. I mean, these are all steps that you can take, but engaging and advocating is really how we take care of ourselves and take care of our profession for today and for the future generations.
Well, I want to thank you both for your insight and for your dedication to the profession, and what you've done early in your careers and what you are doing now to help the leadership that is still taking care of our seniors and our individuals who are the most frail of our population. So as we conclude today, I'd like to ask our audience, how are you leading the way? And what are you doing to lead the way? We thank you, and we hope you will join us next time on the Leading the Way podcast. Thank you.